What's up, everybody? It's Wolf. How you doing today? Today we're back and we're talking about the bioverse, biopills, and the biodocs, baby. So a little bit has happened since our last talk about biopills. We had craft claiming. I did not have a vape or a pill, so I wasn't able to claim a craft. It kind of reminds me of Avaverse racing in a way, but they have different craft styles, like the Duster. I can't remember what the other ones were called. Yeah, but that happened. So now the next thing that's going to be happening is land placement. I do have a piece of land, so hopefully I'll be able to get a little bit of a pick in for that. I would hope you don't need to have a pill and everything else to be able to place your land, but you know, I could be wrong and then I'll be very sad and I'll just end up selling my land. No, I wouldn't really actually do that, but it would be kind of unfortunate. But there's a little bit of an introduction on it, which we're not going to read. It's just kind of like a little bit of a lore. All of this is subject to change, etc., etc. So survival mechanics, this is basically exploring the bioverse. Learn what you're going to need to know for placing your land. So they're trying to provide you with information for you to best choose where you want to place your land. Each biome, previously known as a zone, has its own characteristics and dangerosity to it, increasing with rarity. That means at the start of the game it would be very difficult or near impossible to explore the most dangerous biomes without adequate preparation. Therefore, all players will start the game in an area called the Proving Grounds. Really cool. It reminds me of like WoW, World of Warcraft, New World, RuneScape. There's more. Those are like the main ones that I've played, though, that might be familiar to people. Important note for BYOLand owners: although you will be able to teleport to your land at the very start of the game, you will not be able to explore and benefit from it to its full extent as long as you have not obtained the means to survive its dangerous biome. In your land's base, you will be protected, but getting out of your base unprepared will be at your own risk. So you will be able to teleport to your land, but you might not be able to fully adventure out initially once the game first starts. So it might be smarter to just hang out at the Proving Grounds, level up a little bit, and then head over to your land depending on where you place it. Movement mechanics. We believe that the means of transportation for you and your belongings are another important element to factor in the land selection process. So obviously keeping the idea of you can teleport to your land and everything like that, and to your land from different towns, etc. I guess that's kind of covered down here. You kind of want to like use all of these kind of to choose where you're going, right? They're going to play a role. Do you want your land to be far away? Let's go ahead and actually start the map real quick. So my plot of land here, if we go here, is in Lumia zone. So I could potentially, I assume, put my land in here, 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 or here, correct? So that's exciting. I'm not sure how that's going to play out, if there is certain ingredients can only go on certain places, like, oh, my ingredients only able to go to the Western Lights or something like that. I don't know if that's going to be a limitation as well, but I assume, assumptions are bad, that you'd be able to place it anywhere within these regions. But that's the fun part about speculating and kind of getting to read this lore and all of that. And we'll go over the locations and like the point of interest as well at the end of this kind of little bit of a talk. So say we start here and you're thinking for like a traveling perspective, I'm able to place my land in Lumia. Why would I want to place my land right here in the Welcoming Hills? This seems very close to the Proving Grounds where you're going to be starting, right here, Proving Grounds. So it might be more beneficial for me to place my land here, or even like in a further region of the map. Like, imagine, because like then you don't have to, there's less traveling, you're here. you get to this city, then you're able to transport from this city to this city, or even to go over here. It depends too, right? Do you want to be near like a point of interest like the crash site? Do you want to be near a town? Do you want to be isolated? You know, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be taken into consideration, and that's why they're saying movement is so important. Especially when you go over the walking and running section here. So stamina is a character resource that will be changing based on different situations. So you have sprinting, that's going to cause normal stamina loss. Environmental hazards are going to play a loss. So heat, humidity, drought. So like, yeah, drought increases, but makes you go faster. So there's a lot of factors that you're gonna have to be paying attention to while walking around the bioverse. Maybe you need specific type of facial masks, lighting, etc. to be able to traverse properly. And then obviously you're gonna need foods and resources like waters, etc. to be able to get through certain areas. Certain areas you're not going to be able to run. Other areas you might be able to run a little bit faster, but at you know, a hit in dehydration, or humidity slows your running speed, but you increase in your hydration, etc. So a lot of things to take into consideration. And then you got biocrafts that can be used on roads. You can use them outside of the roads as well. They have a limited cargo capacity, but you can trespass that at the cost of speed and power consumption. You're possibly able to improve by investing resources, etc. trip probably, and things like that into buying new parts for your craft. It's exciting to see that they're going to be kind of interactive vehicles that you can upgrade and do things to. So then you have the teleportation. You can teleport based off of your character, skill tree, and then you have land. You're able to teleport. If you have a master pill, one of the 10k initial bio pills, you do have the ability to teleport. All of these do have a cooldown, and then they do have different costs and different things associated with them when you do use those methods of teleportation. So that's why it's important to kind of like pay attention to where you're going to place your land. So say you're over here and you know you have teleport, it'd be worthwhile to, you know, save a land or put your land out farther away, in my opinion. With me having a one piece of land, I'm not exactly sure where I'd want to be. I think partially I would want to be like over here or in the North Providence. Those two seem like interesting places to be. This seems like it's going to be a very dangerous area, but it could be cool. But yeah, those are like the things to kind of take into consideration. I do plan on picking up a biocraft as well, so it looks like you can see these little gray marks, I assume are roads. And then yeah, so you know, we have those options as well. So I don't know, I'm excited to see how that's gonna go, and then what I'm gonna do with my placement there, considering all of those factors. And then you have the production and resource stuff that you need to take into consideration as well. So there's two types of materials that you can collect in the bioverse: resources and ingredients. Resources are based on the biome, ore veins and mountains, rare flowers and jungles, and are available on both neutral and player-owned lands. Ingredients are based on the biopill used to mint the BYOLand and are generally only available in player-owned lands and are rare, and more rarely in neutral lands deep into the wilderness. So there's going to be general land that is owned by the bioverse. Essentially, it's not going to be like the plots that are sellable, I don't believe. Maybe like purchasable in-game stuff, but they do need land that they are able to introduce new things on, as well as provide an area for people that are trying to free to play and or use of somebody else's apostles and items, etc. So it's cool for that. And then not all resources are easily accessible depending on which region of the bioverse you are in. That means the players have established trade routes. That's a little bit of lore, etc., etc. So Both resources and ingredients will be required in most crafting activities. Crafting activities will mostly occur in towns where crafting stations can be upgraded by players who invest resources in them. This reminds me of New World. The most difficult crafting will require advanced crafting stations that can only be found at the BYOLand facility, a place hidden in dangerous regions of the world that players will have to discover themselves. The BYOLand facility apparently moves from point to point as well, so it's a traveling place. But they will be always at those specific places in the world, if that makes sense. So it's like it travels, but only to those specific spots. Kind of like the mystery box in Call of Duty Zombies. So yeah, and then at some point later in the game, you'll be able to create some sort of crafting station on your land, which is awesome. Lands on the Bioverse are alive, and they react to how they are treated. If you exploit it too much, they might result in violent environmental reactions, increase the environmental hazards, and or the number of dangerousnesses and the dangerousnesses of the fauna, etc. It's such a weird word. It feels like it's made up. Bioenergy. The level of bioenergy is a parameter that evolves on various scales, both at the land or territory level and the region and world level. So bioenergy helps measure the various activities and phenomena on the lands and territories. When the level of bioenergy varies, it can trigger various events that simulate, in a way, the reaction of the environment. Holy crap. When a pill is consumed, it creates a disturbance. When a master pill is used, it creates a disturbance. When resources are extracted from the BYOLand, it creates a disturbance. So essentially it's going to create some sort of an anomaly. Waves of attacks on the closest town outposts and land-based expeditions to uncover valuable resources, tempest or other environmental events that can be increase the environmental hazards, cold wave, heat wave, rain, wind, radioactive spikes, spawn creatures that will swarm a land and consume its resources / ingredients. Anomalies can occur both on neutral and player-owned lands. Moreover, some small parts of the Bioverse will not be accessible for land selection, usually due to their far distance from any town / outpost. This will allow us to reserve areas for other unannounced gameplay features. Okay, so maybe that does kind of like knock some of these regions out. I don't know. That's interesting. I don't remember having read that properly, I guess, last time. So that's why it's good to read these things multiple times. You kind of get a better overview. So things to be aware of. The resources, obviously based on rarity, this is a thing that's always been a thing. The more rare lands, the more rare the items. There will be rare items on non-player owned land, however it would be more dangerous to get to and deeper into the wilderness and more likely of death. There's different levels of bioenergy, and there's different levels at which the energy reacts and works, the region and world and territory levels. And then when certain things are done, the energy levels cause disturbances. It's a disturbance in the forest, Luke. And waves of animals and stuff attack towns. You could have cold, heat waves, crazy stuff like that, essentially. So harvesting from the land, I believe, would cause these as well. Teleportation and things like that. So anytime those things happen, there's going to be some sort of an anomaly that may happen. I don't know if that happens to the player or to the players around the player that had done such things. Let's go over to the guilds. The guild system will allow players in the same guild to create guild territory if they collectively own 4 or more biolands that are next to each other. These lands do not need to be one of the same biome. They are only required to be next to each other. Again, grouping lands usually represents both an advantage and a risk, forcing players to coordinate their efforts to use the guild lands efficiently and protect them from anomalies. So, guilds are going to be important. Shout out Trip. That's the guild I'm in currently. I don't know if Flip and the people involved will be doing anything like that, or if I'm going to be joining a Biopills specific guild, but we'll find out, man. Like I said, I want to make friends and play, so we're going to do this. Player versus player will be opt-in. Awesome to see. Similar to New World, right? You can have the player versus player flag on or off. There's going to be various boosts to appeal to various player types, missions or events occurring in specific areas of worlds that require you to be in PvP. So those are like kind of the incentives. The scale and the nature of PvP activity in the BioVerse is not fully fleshed out at this point, and we are of course listening to the community in order to provide the best player experience possible. So I assume there will be some sort of like weapon leveling and tiering and stuff like that, and then, you know, obviously PvP, you die, you lose your stuff, and so on. So now we got the regions, the landmarks. Let's go ahead and go to the map to kind of look at that. So we have the Astroverse. The featured lands float in low orbit and seem to be the remains of a former satellite stuck at the limit of the atmosphere. Therefore, they are very cold, rocky place exposed to spatial radiation. The reasons why they are not falling on the planet is one more mystery to decipher by those prepared enough to explore these unwelcoming floating lands. So this isn't actually like even on the ground. Like, this is floating in space. The BIOP facility conducted many of its experiments and is said to mysteriously disappear and reappear in other places. So the main location of the BIOP facility is the Astroverse. Fucking god damn it. Oh no, Travis Scott comes out. Astro World, turn up. The BioVault, only a few logs found in the bell tower mention this hidden place. It is supposed to serve as the last bastion of civilization in the case of dire emergency. To find it would probably give many answers about the troubled past of the BioVerse. That's in the frigid plains, the Northlands. I guess we should maybe read. In the extreme north of the BioVerse, on a high altitude plateau, these unwelcoming lands are home to very aggressive and physically harmful creatures whose hearts seem to be as cold as they are as the area. Holy crap. It is also said that a very precious place is hidden in these freezing cold lands to be found only in case of emergency, which is, boom, the BioVault. The Northlands, the unwelcoming lands, are situated on a plateau delimited by the spine to the south. Whoever controls them controls access to the frigid plains to the north. That's actually probably very important. But no man's lands, the harbor, I don't know, I guess maybe there will be, I don't know. They're labeled, so I would assume that you can place stuff here. The Sick Forest. According to local legend, the forest was once the most beautiful place in the BioVerse, home to a very special tree. Trees are still there, but they mutated into something very different, less welcoming and more dangerous. So it's carnivorous, probably. Old Tale, the big tree. Old Tales mentioned the very first tree of the BioVerse, a living memory of every generation. Is it still there? Did it survive the decay and now called Sick Forest? No one knows. Wind's Arm. Swept by the strong winds that constantly switch directions, the strips of land is isolated from the rest of the BioVerse, making its creeks a shelter for those who can bear its harsh climate and trap the many ships and sailors. Oh my god, and a trap for the many sailors and ships that can't. So the Crucible is where everything started, but what is everything? The Apostles, the ingredients, or something more ancient or terrible. That has the Colossus, the Proving Grounds, and then the Bell Tower. These are important areas. I don't know if I'm gonna read all of these, but there, you know, I mean, you get the picture. There's a lot of different places. Maybe we can do the main points of interest. The gift. Local hunters repeated the old tale about the meteor falling from the sky, given by some god as a gift that created this immense lake. The surrounding area indeed is blessed by thriving and unique fauna and flora, but some claim it is unnatural and the depths of the lake should be investigated. So deep lake over there to check out. The ruins of an ancient city now covered by sand and ashes are said to hide an awful secret about the past of the Apostles. Ooh, interesting. Mount Founder. Some say that after the dark days when the ancient civilization collapsed, a few ancients that survived gathered there and decided to rebuild the world, but it is more likely that the eruption of this massive volcano was the event that made the civilization founder completely. But yeah, man, I don't know. That's the world. There's a lot to read here. If you are interested in reading that, feel free to check it out. There's a lot to take in, a lot to go over. I wanted to just kind of make a video and kind of talk about it a little bit, and give my opinions on it. I'm super excited for the BioVerse and land placement. So if you have land, let's talk, man. Maybe we can link up. I don't know. If you're starting a guild, I would love to be involved. There's a few guilds that followed me on Twitter, so I'm just trying to check out the space and, you know, maybe make some new friends and get involved. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.